Welcome. Today we'll see how we can configure an external captive portal on a Huawei access point in FAT AP mode. First, we'll need to set up a TLS certificate on the access point. So for that, we'll go to Advanced Certificate Management, and here we'll upload a certificate. We already have a certificate file with us. To learn how to create a certificate for this, we'll add a link in the description with the details. We'll enter a name for the certificate. The certificate type will be local plus CA plus private key. The format will be PEM, and we'll select the certificate file and enter its password. Then we'll click OK. On this particular device, we've done this before. That's why it's displaying a warning. So we'll just click OK, and the certificate will be uploaded. Then we'll go to SSL section and create a new SSL policy. We'll enter a name for it, and in certificate, we'll select the certificate that we had just uploaded. Then we'll click OK. After that, we need to access the device using SSH, and we need to enter this command, HTTP secure server SSL policy, followed by the name of the policy. Once this is configured, we can now access the device using its hostname. We already have a DNS entry for this hostname, which points to the IP address of the access point. So now you can see that it's saying that the connection is secure, which means that the device has a valid TLS certificate. Once that is done, we'll log into the device. First, we'll go to configuration, internet configuration, and the internet access mode needs to be set to gateway. Also, NAT needs to be enabled. We'll apply these changes. Then we'll go to advanced ACL, and here we'll create a user ACL. We'll enter a name for it, and the number needs to be in the range of 6,000, so we'll just enter 6,000, and we'll have to add a few entries to it. This ACL will be used as the walled garden ACL that we are going to be referencing later. First, we'll add a rule to allow UDP port 53, which is used for DNS. Then we'll add another rule to allow access to the LAN gateway of this device. Then we'll go to domain name configuration, and we'll create a rule for the domain of this device, which is huawei.splashnetworks.co. Once that is done, we'll go back to the user ACL, and we'll enter a third rule, and the destination domain will be the domain that we had just created. And the protocol type needs to be IP. Once the ACL is configured, we'll go to AAA, and we'll select the external portal section. Here we'll check the HTTP protocol option, and in SSL policy we'll select the SSL policy that we had created earlier. The local gateway address will be set to all addresses, and then we'll apply the changes. In portal authentication server, we'll create a new server. We'll enter a name for it and the IP address of our external server. In protocol type, we'll select HTTP HTTPS, and then we will enter the URL of our external captive portal server. For creating an external captive portal server, our team has developed an application which you can use to easily create a captive portal very quickly. So I'll just use that to create an external portal. In the application, first we'll create a new template and enter a name for it, and then we can select the fields that we want to be on the portal, such as first name, last name, and email. On the right side, we can see a preview of how the portal will appear to the user. We'll just click on create, and then we'll go to portals and create a new portal and enter a name for it. Then we'll select the business and venue to which this portal will be applied. The hardware type will be Huawei, followed by a site ID for identifying this particular site, and then the template that we had created in the last step. We'll just copy this URL and we'll enter that into the URL settings of Huawei AP. Then we'll go to URL options, and here we'll have to configure a few parameters. The user IP parameter will be called user IP, and the user MAC keyword parameter will be called user MAC, and the login URL will be called URL followed by the value of the URL, which in this case is https://huawei.splashnetworks.co colon 8443, which is the port used for accepting captive portal related requests on the AP. In parameter parsing, we can enter a redirect URL to which the user will be redirected after successful authorization. So here we can enter the URL of google.com. Once that is done, we can go to Radius, and here we'll create a profile for our Radius server. We'll enter a name for it and a secret, and we'll click on Create Server. Then we'll enter the IP address of our Radius server followed by the shared key. Then we'll check authorization and click OK. And we'll click OK to save the Radius profile. Now we need to create a VLAN for our LAN interface. Let's choose VLAN 101 and we'll create a corresponding interface VLAN and give it the IP address of 192.168.50.1 and a subnet mask of /24. Please recall that we had whitelisted this IP earlier in the wall garden ACL. Then we'll go to DHCP and we'll create a new DHCP pool. And select interface VLAN 101. And in advanced, we'll enter the DNS server IP addresses. In this case, we are going to be using public DNS servers of 1.1.1.1 and 8.8.8.8. Let's click OK. In the last step, we'll go to WLAN configuration. We already have an SSID, so we'll just modify that. In the first step, we'll select VLAN 101 that we had just created. And in the next step, the security setting would be portal. Portal server would be external portal server. MAC address prioritized option would be unchecked, and in the external portal server we'll select the portal server profile that we had created earlier and the radius profile that we had defined earlier. In authentication free rule, we'll select ACL 6000 that we created initially, and we'll click on next and then finish. Now we can connect a device to this SSID to see the user experience of the captive portal. So we are connecting to the Huawei SSID, and we'll see that the portal that we had designed has now popped up. The user will enter their first name, last name, followed by the email address, and the user will be redirected to google.com, and then they'll connect. The data entered by the user will be visible on our Captive Portal application in the customers section. So that's it for now. We hope you found this video useful. Thanks and have a nice day.